We are. We're live, I guess.
We're running.
Yeah, we're running. We're on. Not live, but
we're pretty much live.
We're live in the moment. Yeah. So this is new, man. This is exciting.
First one, right?
Yeah, first one. Well, I've done a couple. I did an episode up in Boone, so I did a remote up there. My son and I did some stuff just with my phone in Colorado Springs.
Right.
And that's really it. Well, no, Caleb and I did a remote up at Oak Road, but it didn't turn out very well. We used the phone as well, and
It's really hard to
ambient noise inside of there was just too much, and
Yeah.
it just drowned out everything we were saying. But we tried. That's all we could do. But we always said if we were going to do it again, we'd bring all this set up instead of
This is
trying to use
amazing,
the phone. So
like mobile.
this is the way to
studio.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not too hard.
But
I
it
carried
is.
it all just in my arms and didn't even need a box or anything. So
But this is the first one from Homegrown Brewhouse.
first one from Homegrown Brewhouse for
Somerville,
sure.
South Carolina.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even mention where we were, but yeah. We're at Homegrown Brewhouse. I talk about it every episode. We're at 117 South Main Street and downtown Somerville, Hutchinson Square area. So if you happen to walk by Homegrown in future days, take a peek through the window. You might see a podcast going on.
Wait, say hello.
I got to get my on-air sign and post it up in here somewhere so we can put that on, or put it outside somewhere so you can see it. But yeah,
Back to the day.
back to the day, and we're sitting.
Bell tolls. It must be 11 o'clock.
That's right. It is. Oh, it's out there. I can't even hear it through the
I could hear
headphones.
it.
But so yeah, we're sitting here with we got Paul Pietrofeso back in the house. The video that I looked up earlier from your podcast was the 7th episode that we did, and it was posted back on May 11th
Of 2018.
of 2018.
God, it seems
It's
like it
been-
was last year.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it seemed. I thought that seemed like it was way far away. You're thinking it feels like it's even further away than that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a while.
This has been a crazy year.
Yeah, and I think we actually recorded you in April or something, because at that time we were like pushed way out. We were
Yeah.
releasing stuff 3
That's right.
weeks away
Yes,
or
It
something.
was April and then released in May.
Yeah, so we're going to do this tonight. We've come a long way, but we're going to do this tonight, and I'll have it released in the morning. So
That's incredible, man.
yeah, so
That's a late night.
I'll put it all together tonight. It's going to take a while, but that's what I do. I sit up all night messing with the podcast, the
It's
video.
a conversation, man.
Yeah,
It's
So-
a craft conversation.
it is. We just got through listening to Clayton Lewis. Yeah, here.
It's Clayton. No.
That's Clayton Lewis. Yeah.
It's so old, dude.
You didn't remember his name?
I couldn't think of Clayton.
Yeah, Clayton Lewis. So Clayton Lewis, he was episode 6, the episode right before
Right
you, as a
before
matter
us.
of fact. He was on the podcast. I'll probably put both of those in the show notes so people can link to those and rewatch those if they want to and see what was going on way back then, because it's been so long, 5 months now, I guess. And Clayton's going to be in here pretty soon as well. He took off from here and bolted over to the Honky Tonk Saloon and
To hang out for the open mic.
Yeah, doing an open mic over there. Fleming Moore's doing that, so he went over and jumped on stage and did a few more songs. So 2.5 hours here and then another whatever he's doing over there. So you musicians are always working, man, popping
Non-stop.
around.
Nonstop. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Once you get going and started, there's music just about every night of the week around here.
There is.
If it's in Somerville or Charleston, you could really have a blast just about every night of the week.
Yeah, and it's gotten even more so, I think. I mean, since we started this podcast, or we started it, Caleb and I, and I'm doing it now, but it's gotten even more so, I think, since in the last 5 months.
Sure,
There's
some
more
new
places to go.
opened up. Yep.
Yeah,
More people hosting.
yeah, exactly.
That's one of the
And that's cool,
challenges.
yeah. There used to be 2 or 3 people in town, and now there's a good handful of people that are hosting
Absolutely.
open
I
mics
think
and getting
even,
out there. And
I think even Matt Chrisman hosts
does he?
an open mic at one of the places. In
Very
Somerville.
nice.
So,
Yeah,
Lot of-
Matthew deserves it, man. He's a hard worker.
hardworking guy, runs around, constantly writing, and
Yeah,
enjoyable, friendly guy. So
yeah,
it's good to see everybody out there having a shot at hosting once in a while, which is not the easiest thing in the world, Brian.
yeah.
You never know who's going to show up. You don't know what type of interests people have with the music. So, you might have one person that's playing a Metallica tune, and then the next person's playing a, Hank Williams tune.
Right.
How do you get that all to gel? And, usually it's just good people
Yeah,
hanging out and open-minded to different styles of music, whether it's metal or country or blues or rock and roll. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I haven't experienced a lot of the open mics. I've gone to the Honky Tonk one once. I've gone to the one down here that Fleming puts on. Joshua Jarman used to do it down here at Wine and Tapas, but Fleming's taken that over. But the main one I remember is Coastal Coffee Roasters. Obviously, I worked at Coastal Coffee and at Oak Road, so I got to see that pretty much every Thursday night and watch it evolve. And Joshua Jarman out there every other week, and Chris Rankin, Old Man Rankin out there.
Old Man Rankin hosting.
Yeah.
I think he hosted tonight, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, probably. I think it was his week. And yeah, it was always interesting, the different styles of music that came in there. And you had the beginners, and you had kind of the intermediates. You had some guys that were kind of professional and polished. You even had some spoken word, I think, out there a little bit. So just about everything you could imagine.
About 360 on the entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's a good place for people just to kind of fine-tune their wares, I guess, right?
Absolutely. And then the thing about it is, no matter where you are in your journey, because you never get to the end.
Yeah.
Every time you get to the peak, there's another valley and another range of mountains. So you get all these, people that are just starting out, and then you have people that have been playing for years and years. And the open mics give you a chance to try new stuff out in an area where nobody's going to criticize you. They're going to give you some, positive feedback, and if you run with it, you could always improve, based on what people are saying.
Right.
And that's where the open mics are fun, and there's no pressure. You can play your own music, or you can play a cover tune. I've heard people play Johnny Cash, and then they play an original, and it's always entertaining. So that's the open mic deal around Somerville, and I guess all over the country.
Yeah. And that's what I've noticed, too, when you go out there, that there's no judgment whatsoever. I mean, these people get out there and do whatever they're doing, whether it's their first time at an open mic and they've never sang before or performed in front of people, or if they're an old veteran like yourself or whatever, there's no judgment. I mean, the audience seems to kind of go with everything, and they applaud graciously and give encouragement, and it's fantastic. It really is.
Yeah, no doubt. So, Coastal was Thursday, and then Monday night I hear Wine and Tapas has it's not an open mic, but it's a place to share your original music.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually open yet.
No,
it's
not
Fleming,
open.
Fleming more acoustic, but he has a bunch of people come in and sit in with him or solo.
And
He might take a break, and they just kind of take over. So.
Yeah, and then Cup of Mana, which is right across the street. They have Tuesday night open mic, which has been running for more than a couple of years since the previous owners. It was Single Smile Cafe, I think, before Cup of Mana. But, they do a great job keeping it running, and it's a different host every week.
Yeah, and I don't know how they fit people on that stupid tiny stage over there. That stage seems like it's the tiniest thing ever when I go in there.
It's tiny, but
I mean, do you get full bands and stuff in there?
No, usually it's solo musicians, and then sometimes you'll have a duo, and then if there's a third person, they'll stand off to the right or left.
Okay.
But it's pretty tight. But it's again, it's just an open mic where if you're interested in trying something different musically, maybe you play saxophone in a band. We've had saxophone players show up at a couple of Mana, and they'll ask, "Hey, does somebody know how to play this song or that song?" And somebody will sit in and give them a chance to play saxophone.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But I think that's most of them, right? I think that's the big few around Somerville right now.
Right. Well, it was you the other night telling me about Ice House, right? It has the oldest running open mic and
Forgot Ice House.
Yeah.
Sunday night. That's a late night over there. It starts
Is
at
it?
10 o'clock and I think goes until 1 in the morning.
You said Sunday? Is that what you said?
Sunday night,
Okay.
at Ice House. Right?
Yeah, I'm always tied up on Sundays, but I'd like to check it out.
Yeah, Matt plays over there, and I've seen, Jameson. I don't know if you know Jameson. He's
He used to
all-
work over here at Accent on Wine, right?
I don't know, maybe, but he's.
I know he plays some music.
He plays more gigs than anybody I think around.
Might
So
not be the same guy
he'll
I'm thinking
pop
of.
up,
then.
and it's just another open mic night to share some music and
Yeah.
hang out with some folks. Yeah,
So many good places.
Somerville's changing quite a bit in the last 5 years.
Big time. Yeah, I've been back almost 5 years now. Yeah, so I've seen just in those 5 years amazing changes. Big time changes. I mean, hell, this square out here is being torn to pieces and revamped after decades of what it was. So
I kind of wonder when that's going to be done.
they're saying the first of the year, somewhere around there. Yeah, January, February timeframe. So they're opening up, a piece at a time, kind of just gradually revealing it. But it's going to be fantastic when
And
it's
there's
done.
going to be a small stage up.
Yeah, it's
on
going to be a
the corner by the
bandstand.
train-
Yeah, at the other end over there.
station. That's going to be so much fun.
It is. It's
You know,
going to be much
between the
better
tea-
than a little tent on the other side of the
Right,
street
they'll
there.
have,
But
you have the Tea Festival and the Flower Town Festival and all these different festivals during the year.
yeah,
Now they'll have a stage to perform on instead of behind the
yeah.
pharmacy.
Oktoberfest, third Thursdays.
Third Thursdays, all these different things.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
it's going to be great. And so what have you been up to since the last time we spoke?
Boy.
I don't even remember what we talked about last time we spoke. We talked
Caleb,
about so many things.
We opened it up, I think.
Yeah, we talked a lot about
Um,
music in general, of course, but
Well, I've been having a great time with playing with a bunch of different musicians, and some that I've been playing with for years and years. So Roger Craig, the bass player that I've been playing with since we started playing again,
yeah,
he's still with us. And then the Paul Stone project, is constantly evolving and morphing. And we're playing with John Wilmarth, who's the one of the band teachers at Somerville High. He's playing drums for us now. And
okay, that's the one. I thought you told me. I thought Roger was the one that was at Somerville High School, but
no, John Wilmarth.
Okay.
He gives lessons too. So he's a real busy musician. So he's been sitting in with us and went into the studio since our last podcast, and we recorded an EP, 4 songs. It's called Next in Line, and we're actually going to do the release this Saturday night here at Homegrown Brewhouse with you and
Nice.
Caleb and the whole gang. So
Yeah.
we'll have CDs with 4 of our original tunes, and just getting back into the studio after all these years was really fun. And the change in how you record music today versus the last time I was in the studio was just mind-boggling.
yeah,
So the technology, like, you have, look at the Porta Studio here, this would have been $40,000 worth of gear years ago. Now, you have all your setup and microphones, and we're recording, and you'll have it out on the internet sometime in the next 12 hours or 24 hours. So the recording studios really changed in that what used to take hours and hours and hours to get, with computing technology today, you can copy and paste and cut and overdub, and it's really amazing how you could shape music today compared to yesteryear with
right.
tape and reel-to-reel.
Now-
So,
Now, do you like that? I mean, do you like that more, where you can manipulate it, or would you rather have it? I mean, they've always been able to adjust levels and do things like that, I guess,
Yes.
but not as much as you can now. Do you like it that way, or would you prefer to be the old way, like you said, reel to reel? Or
yeah, it's it has its advantages and disadvantages. I think from a sound quality standpoint, you can get much better sound quality today
yeah,
because the microphones are better. Some people might argue that. They might say, well, those old microphones had a gritty sound. You can't
Right.
get that today. But
same thing with vinyl versus
vinyl
whatever
versus
CD.
right.
Yeah,
But the fact, I think, is that you can capture a lot more sound, and then you can manipulate the sound today so much easier than you did when you were dealing with tape and reel-to-reel. And that was amazing to me. So I guess I could tell you some of the things that were funny to me was how you could take 3 parts that might not be, from a time standpoint, right on top of each other, and you could shape that so it takes something that's a little bit skewed and lay it right on top of each other, and you have all of a sudden a perfect hit on the timing. You really couldn't do that the same way yesteryear. And you could expand a sound file, and you could see all the different characteristics of this wave.
yeah,
And you're like, the engineer will say, well, Paul, you came in a little bit early on that. You can't argue it because there it is. It starts the file, you see where it hits, and you say,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a little early. Don't worry, we could fix that.
but then you can move that. Yeah,
Right. Back in the day, you would do another take maybe, or you would say, oh, it's not something we want to address. We're going to let that go.
right.
So that was probably the biggest difference. Plus the guys in the studio are like half my age.
Yeah. So from a time standpoint, then it's definitely a lot less time consuming too, right? To get in the studio now. I mean, what would maybe take you a couple of days now, you could do in a day easily.
Yeah, it's the time
with the mastering and stuff.
With with everything, right? The whole process is a lot faster. And then once that's done, that's like part one. The next thing that I had a chance to go through, which I didn't in yesteryear, was actually releasing something digitally on the internet and then getting a CD product out. So that's a whole little business in itself. So once you have your sound files, then it's what do you do with them? And that's kind of that's the business part of it. So all that's been happening since we met last time, and this Saturday we're going to have it all ready to go.
Okay.
So it was a lot of fun. I got to join BMI.
Yeah.
Wow.
BMI's been around forever, right?
A long time.
How long have they been around? Do you know?
I don't know when they started. I should know that, but I don't.
Yeah, I could look it up.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where to release digital media through one of these companies that sells. I'll plug CD Baby. That's the company I went with. They were easy to work with for somebody who's independent, and they said, "Well, are you with BMI? Who's covering your stuff? When we release it, somebody's going to track the plays and all that." So I went out there and joined BMI, and yesterday I got the email saying, "Yeah, welcome to the team," and blah blah blah. And
nice.
That was
official.
It's all official. So there's a million ways to sell or release music, and I guess I said, well, let me try to do the real deal thing this time instead of just putting cassette tapes together like I did years and years and years, 25 years ago.
Right, and that was going to be one of my next questions. So you said this four-song EP's coming out, but what have you had released previous to this? I mean, have you done a lot of stuff? You done albums at all, or just cassettes?
No, we never. Well, I actually did make 145 in Nashville.
Nice.
That was it was a quick boom, in and out, one take type of thing, and it was a lot of fun.
And that's just one track on each side, right? It's 2 tracks, is that what it is?
Yeah, it was actually it was single tracks of vocal and guitar, and then they burn it to vinyl for you.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. A little bit, of a nail biter because you only get one take to do it, so what you get is what you get.
Yeah.
But then before that, man, I'm going to really show my age, Brian.
That's fine.
Nobody's going to come Saturday night. They're going to be like, who wants to see some old dude?
Nah, plenty of people. Yeah.
But back in the 80s, we went into the studio with my band back then, and it was a big production to do demo tapes. And
this was up north at
this was
this
up
point.
in New York, at a place called Mike Boner Studios, probably long gone by now.
Yeah, like most of them, right?
Like most of them, right? And it was a great time. We went into the studio. They treat you like a rock star, and you pay for that, but they treat you like what you're trying to accomplish. And
Yeah.
You send out demo tapes to Columbia and Arista, and just go down the list, and then you get the rejection letters.
Yeah.
Thank you, but this isn't what we're looking for, and hey, we really appreciate you thinking of what was Kiss's label. I always loved them.
Casablanca.
Casablanca.
Yeah.
Thank you for sending us your music. We appreciate it, but we're not looking for that type of sound right now.
Yeah.
And then life goes on. So that's kind of
How do you think that's changed now? I mean, do you think those companies are now just wanting everything? Just give me whatever you got? They're not being as picky anymore, do you think? Or
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But I think
I just wonder if, the business has gone so south as far as, record sales. I mean, now your money is kind of in touring and things like that. So are people more open to just kind of whatever now and not as picky as they used to be? I don't know.
I think there's like the big, the Taylor Swifts of the world, and who else is it? Like the Billy Joels, guys that have their labels.
Yeah.
They go in, they do a recording, and it gets marketed. And then I think there's a bigger thing now with the independent, the smaller musicians that want to release their music and go out and play and market it themselves. I think that's kind of where I see a lot of people starting. And I read something online that was kind of interesting. It said, well, do you want to be a tiny, teeny fish in a giant ocean, or do you want to be a big fish in a small pond? And I think the point there, I think, was interesting is, hey, I could play at Homegrown Brewhouse, I could play at Coastal Coffee. I could play downtown in Charleston. People start to recognize your name, and some, different tastes, different strokes for different folks. You pick up a following, and then all of a sudden you're playing every week or as much as you want. Whereas if you say, I'm going to shoot for be the big fish in the giant ocean, you can spend your whole career trying to hit that, hey, we're going to sign you and let you do a recording.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess it depends where you are. And then you have like The Voice and America's Got Talent and all these. You could spin your wheels trying to get on one of those shows instead of out playing. And
Yeah.
I kind of choose I'd rather be out entertaining, having fun, friends coming.
Well, I mean, but a good majority of those people that are getting on American Idol on those shows have been out doing and hitting the streets, and they're just they just can't make it, and they figure that's going to be their one shot is to try and get on those shows. So it's not like they're not out beating the streets too. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are just looking for that quick fix and the quick spotlight. But
Spotlight, right? So I guess
and then you mentioned the big name guys, like Taylor Swift and stuff. Then there's people that just they create their own studio and say, screw all these other studios. They don't want my songs. I'll start my own recording company and just do it on their own.
Yeah. So I guess what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it for sure. But I watched this documentary, and there was this street guy who was playing up in Seattle, and the person who was hosting said, "So what do you think it's going to take for you to ever be successful?" And this is a guy who was like, playing on the corner for change. And he goes, I'm already successful. I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
it's all in your perspective.
Perspective, right? So, if you want to be a millionaire, look out. You got a lot of competition.
Yeah.
But if you want to just have, share your music and your thoughts with people and have some fun, boy, it's, it takes some work, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
So, that was a good. I never really thought about that before.
Yeah.
Used to be, think about we were just listening to the music, and MTV was the thing back in the 80s, right? 80s and late.
Yeah. Was it 84 that it started? Was that?
I should have looked at that.
I think it's 84.
84, 85, maybe. It started on.
Might have been 80.
People don't even know what this is anymore. Like UHF. You remember that? There was VHF and UHF TV?
Yeah.
So MTV started up in the Northeast. It started on UHF. It was on a channel. Somebody's going to call us out on this. They say it was not Channel 28. But I think it was like Channel 28 with the rabbit ears, and it was all fuzzy. And we were like, wow, look at this. It's music on television.
Yeah.
And then I think 83, 84.
August 1st, 1981. New York City, New York.
Yeah.
MTV started.
81.
81. Yeah.
Gosh, how old does that make it? It's over 30 years, right? 37
Yeah, 37 years. Yep.
Jeez. We're only 40, Brian.
Yeah, I know, right? I'll tell you what we're going to do.
Go ahead.
On that note, let's pause for a second. We're going to open this beer. I know you still got some beer left in this glass from earlier, but this is Craft Conversations, where we craft a conversation with influential, fun, and interesting guests, and we talk a little bit about craft beer. So let's open this beer
Sounds
and
great.
get that out of the way.
Sounds great.
Is that all right with you?
Yeah, we're kind of flowing along in a little semblance of
Yeah, we're about 23 minutes in already. Time goes by fast.
on the Craft Conversations. I need to get a shirt, Brian.
A shirt?
I'm gonna have to do. What aren't you doing something now for American Cancer Society?
Yeah, I just designed a shirt the other day, last night as a matter of fact, and yeah, I put it up on Facebook, on my page, my personal page, and the Craft Conversations page, and out there on Instagram, as a matter of fact, on my page there. And $25, you get a custom-made shirt that I made, and all the proceeds are going to the American Cancer Society. So I don't get a penny of it, and yeah, that's what I did.
People helping people.
People helping
It's a
people.
great organization. It was last month. It was a real amazing thing. The Teal Diva organization hosted a 5K race here in Charleston.
Right.
They had over 750 people show up to race at Wanamaker Park, and they invited our band to play during the race. We had a great time, and the night before, I think it was the night before, the race was on Saturday, I think, it was Thursday night. We went down to Charleston and did an event at one of the places that helps people out that are going through, families and people that are going through cancer treatments and things like that. It's called I'm going to get it wrong, somebody's going to help me. It's Hope House.
Okay, yep. It sounds like something, yeah.
And
I've
it's
heard
right
of
next to the Ronald McDonald House downtown. And they called it Blues and Barbecue.
Okay.
So the Teal Diva organization brought in barbecue from one of the places downtown. And I played music for the folks that were staying there during this treatment. And it's amazing how gracious people are, you know. So we had a great time. Saturday we had the 5K event. They raised this year, 2018, at the one event, over $70,000 for ovarian cancer research and support groups. So, you know, that's just the beauty of the city.
Yeah.
It's a very cool vibe in Charleston, Somerville, Charleston, all the surrounding cities. And
Yeah, and there's a big cancer, research center down there at MUSC, the Hollings
Hollins
Cancer Research
Right.
Center, I think it's what it's called or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with cancer here in town.
Yeah, so the shirt's a great idea. I don't know, do you have somebody there you work with, or you're just going to donate the money? Or how do, I don't know how to do that.
No, it's going to be donated directly through the site. So the site that I went to create my shirt, they've got a process on there where instead of just checking out, buying a shirt or buying 10 or 100 of them or whatever, you can set it up as a fundraiser and say, okay, I want to sell these shirts. You name your price and it tells you how much of that is going to be profit.
Okay.
And then you could keep that profit yourself, or you could donate it to a certain charity. You just type in what charity you want and it comes up, and you decide whether you want to give it to them electronically or through a check in the mail or however you want to do it.
So the GoFundMe page, but it has a...
Kind of, yeah, through
site.
this T-shirt company, yeah. So they're
Really cool.
it's a great idea, and I didn't even know about it until I was creating the shirt. And I said, well, hell, instead of me just creating shirts and pocketing the money, let me donate it to a charity. So
It's awesome, man. Well,
Yeah.
to that, I'll say cheers.
yeah, to you too, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then I'll talk about what we're drinking here. But
Oh, man.
and the same thing, we donated, because you were at the Rivercraft event that we did out of Blackwater. We donated everything that we made, which wasn't much, to be honest with you, but everything we did make, we donated to the Hollings Cancer Research Center downtown.
Yeah,
So.
that is just...
And, I've got some, kind of some personal things with cancer going on, so, within the family and things like that. So it's near and dear to my heart, so
Yeah,
that's why I did it, but,
everything you do counts,
right.
and so that's a great idea. Well, I'll be going out there to get my Craft Conversations shirt.
Cool, I appreciate it. I've got one that I made already through that same company. I did a test shirt, so I've got one that I wore the other night when I was in here, but I run in and chose a different product this time and kind of redid it. So hopefully it's going to be good. People like it.
I'm sure it'll be great, man.
Right now, we're drinking the organic chocolate stout from Samuel Smith's Old Brewery. It's an English stout. It's a 5% ABV, 28 IBUs. It's got an average rating of 4.08. It is brewed with well water, the original well, sunk in 1758. Still in use with the hard water. Is still in use with the hard water is drawn from 85 feet underground, and gently roasted organic chocolate malts and organic cacao impart a delicious, smooth, and creamy character with inviting deep flavors and a delightful finish. This is a perfect marriage of satisfying stout and luxurious chocolate. So there you go.
And it tastes great.
Oh man, it tastes like you're
It's
eating
like- it's like a
drinking a
dessert.
chocolate bar. Yeah,
It would make a great pairing with a nice Hershey's bar or something.
yeah, for sure. And this is in North Yorkshire, England, is where Samuel Smith's Old Brewery is. So they've been doing it for a long time.
Great stuff. You can get that here.
Here at Homegrown, yeah, absolutely.
I don't see it around too many places.
No, you don't. You probably get it, at Total Wine and
I
those.
think I saw it at Lowe's,
big box
Lowe's
places.
Foods over in
Lowe's probably has.
Somerville.
Yeah,
They have a pretty good selection there.
yeah,
Not a pretty good, they have a really good selection.
very good. Probably one of
It's
the best in
food,
town.
It's the only food store you can go into and sit down and have a beer.
Absolutely.
And then go food shopping.
Yeah, I was there. I was there a couple days ago.
Amazing stuff, right?
Right. Or it might have been yesterday. I might have been there yesterday. Was it yesterday?
I
can't
mean, the
remember.
first time I heard they had a place to go in a food store, I said, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, what were you drinking before? That's the Narwhal?
Sierra Nevada.
Yeah, the Sierra Nevada Narwhal. Yeah, it's a good beer too.
That's the mecca of breweries in around Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah, probably on the entire East Coast.
It might be.
I mean, you got Stone now, which is in Virginia. I can't remember exactly where in Virginia. So Stone's a pretty big name from the West
Yep.
Coast as well. But Sierra Nevada's probably got the biggest facility on the East Coast for sure.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Brick roads going into the brewery.
Yeah,
So-
just the road up itself is an experience.
Yeah, you feel
And
like
with the
you-
sconces and all
Yeah.
the different artwork
Like,
and
where am I going?
yeah, paved, like you said, a kind of a cobblestone
road.
laid out road. It's not even just pavement. I mean, they put a lot of thought and money into that guy.
Oh my gosh! And then the brewery itself, it's all open. You can see everything that's going on and all the different types of beers they're making. And
Yeah.
you could do a tour, a guided tour or a self-guided tour.
Yep.
And then at the end, you can go upstairs and you can do a tasting, and they have pretty big selection there.
Yeah, that little special tasting room up there.
Right. They actually have two there. One on the main floor, and then you go upstairs, and they have.
That's what I'm talking about, the tour tasting room.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And then outside.
And then you got an outside one as well.
Outside one, and then they have a big musical venue out there too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, pretty similar to what we were talking about. It's going to be at the end here, bandstand area,
Yeah.
whatever.
So you could spend a whole afternoon there with the family.
Oh, I spent a whole afternoon just by myself. Yeah, and it's all, renewable stuff. I mean, solar and all the water is recycled, and they're
Yes.
growing all their own organic ingredients there for the beer right there, and for the farm to table,
Food.
food that they do, which
yeah,
is
food
fantastic
businesses.
there as well.
That was a fun trip. I mean, it's only 4.5 hours from here to get up to Asheville, maybe
Yeah.
5 hours tops.
Something like that. Yeah,
And then you're in the mountains compared to the low country.
yeah.
And there's,
Yeah, it's probably a little brisk up there right now.
yeah, I bet you it's about.
Probably in the 40s
It was,
or so.
I was in Clemson yesterday
Yeah.
visiting my daughter, and it was 50 degrees when I got there. It was pretty cool,
Yeah,
So, yeah, it's winter, fall,
it is.
fall in the low
Finally.
country. Finally, yeah, we don't need air conditioning.
And it's funny how, because, we were just talking earlier that tonight was a little kind of lacking in here because of the fair just starting here in town, the Coastal Carolina Fair. And it seems like every year, no matter what year it is, this weather hits as soon as the fair starts.
It's amazing.
It is always cold when the fair starts.
Yeah.
I can't remember a year that that the fall didn't hit as soon as the fair came.
I don't know if I should admit this, but I've lived here 12 years, and I've never been to the fair yet.
Yeah.
Isn't that
that's-
weird?
No, I don't know if
People
that's
say
weird.
it's so crowded, so it's like we talk about going, and then
Yeah, I mean, definitely during the week would be the time to go for sure. I would stay away from Friday, Saturday nights.
Right.
But of course, growing up, that's when we wanted to be there, was Friday, Saturday nights. 'Cause that's when you were seen and you could see people.
deep fried Twinkie or whatever.
Yeah. But you wanted to go there to see people. You weren't really going there for the rides. It was kind of a social event, really. But
Yeah.
but now I want to go for the rides and for the food and
So
No
go during and it runs for what now until like next Friday? Is it 7 days, 8 days, or something.
I think it's 2 weeks worth.
runs
So it'll
that
be
long?
it'll be the weekend after Halloween. Maybe it's over. I'm not exactly
Wow.
sure. I didn't even know it started tonight until people
Yeah.
came in talking about it. So.
It's big.
Yeah, and they usually have some good music out there. Speaking of music,
They do.
They got 2 or 3 different venues out there that they do live music at. So I don't know if anybody we know is booked out there or not, but
We'll have to check.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be cool if some of the local talent got a chance to play.
it'd be great.
I know downtown, when they have some, like the Cooper River Bridge Run,
Hmm.
they have bands all along the race course.
Yeah, they're doing that now. They didn't used to do that, but yeah.
And this year it was kind of cool. Kat Strickland played at like mile 3, and they set her up on a trailer
Yeah,
on the race course, and that's a fun way to spend some time. And
Yeah, it's
let
great.
people- how many thousands? I think 20.
Oh, no, it's 45,000 people, I think, at this point, yeah.
Wow, you could say I played in front of 45,000 people.
Yeah, you could, for sure. And you
It's like
wouldn't be lying.
Woodstock, but you're running.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that they're doing that. I haven't run it, and I ran it at the 40th anniversary, which was a couple years ago. but I haven't run it here recently. But that was a new thing that they were doing that I was really glad to see, because it really takes your mind off the running just to have that extra distraction on the sides. Yeah.
That's a great thing. That's a 10K?
Yeah, it's 10K.
So, you could have a couple of bands out there for sure.
Yeah. The old bridge, they weren't able to set up any bands or anything on the bridge, but now with this new one, they can set people up on the other side of a partition that kind of splits both directions over there. So they actually got bands on the bridge now.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you probably
Used to be you got on that 2 miles of the bridge and it was just dead quiet. All you heard was just footsteps,
Yeah.
and the bridge kind of bounces and shakes a little bit, but yeah, now you got some music up there.
Yeah, that's got to be fun. I don't know how she got into that, but
Yeah, she has to know somebody, because
Well,
I'm sure
I
there was a
think
ton of people throwing their name in the.
probably so. I would think.
in the hat.
But it's also a lot of work to get your stuff out there and plugged in and set up and sound checked. And I think it was pretty cool the day that the race was. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't cool. Well, it might have been.
Yeah.
So you're playing outside and it's not the best weather,
Yeah,
but you're still committed, so you go.
yeah,
Put some tarps over your amplifiers.
yeah. Yeah, there's been some years I've been out there and it's been just pouring down rain, rain going actually sideways, and the wind is 20, 30 miles up on the
Yeah.
top of that bridge, so it wouldn't be fun for a band for sure. They'd probably even cancel it, but
Be surprised.
yeah,
Musicians are going to get out there and play.
yeah,
Cover up this stuff if it's raining, and then uncover it when the weather breaks. And
true.
it's really something.
Yeah.
It's hard work, but it's a lot of fun.
And I'm glad they're starting to do that on the smaller races, because I used to run marathons, and we would have the rock and roll marathons, and they do. I don't know. I want to say there's 5 or 6 different states that does that now. It might even be more than that, but that was always a cool thing to get
Where's the
the
big
rock
one?
and roll marathons.
Where's the big rock and roll? The big rock and roll marathon used to be like Chicago.
Yeah, you got Chicago's one of them. You got
Yeah.
Seattle's one of them. Las Vegas is one. It's either San Diego or San Francisco. I can't remember. It might be both.
Yeah.
So I know there's at least a handful. Austin, Texas, I think, is another one. So there's quite a few of them out there.
Yeah. The
And
one
they're-
marathon I ran was in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
26.2 miles, right?
Yep.
Didn't stop once.
Nice.
Vaseline at mile 23.
Oh yes. Got to have
The
Vaseline.
Marine Corps had Vaseline sticks for all of us souls
Yeah,
that didn't know what
like
we were
little
doing.
the tongue depressor sticks or
Yes.
whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
What was funny about
Just
it
you
is
rub some underneath your
I
arms
had
and on
no
your
idea what
nipples.
it was. I thought it was like
Yeah,
I
some
thought
people
was
try and
like
eat it.
sugar.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that? And some guy goes, don't eat it. It's Vaseline. I was like, oh wow, that's going to come in handy, and
Yeah.
it did. But the thing about it is there were parts where you were running over a bridge over the St. James River, I think it is there, and it's just quiet. All you hear is like breathing and footsteps.
Yeah.
Music would have been a good diversion.
Yeah. Although that's kind of meditative as well to an extent, just that
It's-
breathing and the footsteps,
it
and
is.
just
Yes.
sometimes I enjoy that more than plugging in with a headphone or whatever, or band.
Yeah.
Sometimes I enjoy just the monotony of my own breath. It kind of
Yeah, and
it's like a
sound-
metronome type
it
thing
is,
or
it's a
whatever.
metronome, yeah.
Yeah.
It's relaxing, the heart's beating. I don't know if I'm going to be running a marathon anytime soon. I think those are the days behind me.
Yeah, I actually challenged my brother Bruce just last week, or the beginning of this week, somewhere here. In the past week, I think it was, I challenged him to an ultra marathon out in January,
And that's
to a
like
40-mile. This was a 40-mile
40
race, and he turned me down. He said he's got something he's doing that day, so I think he was just scared. But
smart guy.
yeah, but he's a big time runner right now. He does. He just did the Myrtle Beach half marathon. He runs 5Ks, like 2 or 3 of them a week.
Wow.
He does a 10K here and there, but mostly 5Ks is what his kind of forte is. So
Yeah.
I challenged him to an ultra marathon, but we'll do one eventually. But
Now, there's
I
different
decided
kinds
I
of-
was going to get back into running and just go balls out and just go straight to the
It's
ultra
so
marathon.
much fun, man. Once you get started, I mean, you could run
Yeah.
every weekend as a race somewhere.
Oh,
And then
every
like-
weekend.
And then it's not only winning, it's like, can you beat your best time?
Yeah.
So
And that's all I ever competed against was myself.
too.
But yeah.
I don't think I never really got a trophy. I ran a lot of 5K races when I was running a lot.
Yeah.
And, my age group back then was like, the best, the fastest guys, and they were running like 16-minute 5Ks. I was never able to get under 20 minutes.
Yeah.
2021, and it was all psychological. You're like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Slow down at the last minute. But I wonder now in the 50s, it'd probably be a shot I can get a medal.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's Bruce. Same thing. He was placing like third, fourth in his age group, and then he hit that next birthday, and now he's like getting first place all the time because he just hit a different age group, and you got different people you're running with.
And then if you get into if you're lucky enough to run into your 70s, then you're almost guaranteed because you're the only one getting it.
Almost guaranteed, and those guys are almost faster than
some of the young cats.
all the young guys, man. It's crazy how, these older guys are just running like crazy.
If your body doesn't break when it hits 40, you're probably good to go until you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, that's probably a solid point.
It's amazing. It's like some people are built to run, I think, and some are not.
Yeah.
And you could always tell the people that are like, shin splints and they're walking backwards the last 100 yards.
Right. Well, I think anybody can be trained to run for sure. All these people, somebody that says, I'm not a runner, I'm not built to run, I can't run. I'm like, no, you can. You just haven't trained properly. And you haven't titrated yourself up to let your body get stronger and those ligaments and tendons and everything to accommodate the running. You went too fast, you went too hard, you did too long of distances right out the box, and now you got shin splints. Now you got iliotibial band syndrome, plantar fasciitis, all these things.
Pulled groin muscles.
Groin muscles, hamstrings, everything.
Hammies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do it right, if you go into it
and
increase, incrementally, they say 10% a week or whatever, and kind of just really get into it and cross train and eat right.
Don't run in pro-keds. Nothing against pro-keds.
Pro-keds?
Yeah, get a good pair of running shoes, right?
Yeah, true. Or, there's people out there running in barefoot. Yeah. So it doesn't always have to be a good shoe either.
Boy, that hurts.
Yeah.
3 miles barefoot on asphalt.
No thanks.
Big pebbles in the road, and you step on a pebble.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll stop you in your tracks.
Yeah. So what else is going on with Homegrown musically? You guys got any changes coming up? I know we're lucky enough to play here every fourth Friday. We always enjoy getting out here. And matter of fact, if this gets out tomorrow, the plug is this fourth Friday is going to be the fourth Saturday, so we'll be here Saturday night instead of the fourth Friday, and guaranteed we're playing from 8 to 10. Guaranteed we'll have a good time like we always do, which is part of the goals, right?
Yeah.
Hashtag goals, right?
Yeah. And you got to make sure I remember all this stuff that we're talking about, because normally I've got a notebook, and I do. It's in my bag over there. But I forgot to bring it over so I could write down all this stuff to make sure I put everything in the show notes and stuff. So after we get done, you'll have to kind of remind me so I can jot down some notes of stuff we talked about.
Post-production stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff nobody.
So I can make sure we tag everybody and mention all the stuff we need to mention and put it in the notes. So
we just blazed along in the last few minutes, didn't we, though?
Yeah, I mean, we're at 43 minutes already. It goes so quickly.
Yeah,
I remember when we first started this thing, not tonight, but started the podcast, we were like, how are we going to even talk for 20 minutes? We don't have anything to talk about. Next thing you know, 2.5 hours go by,
So much. I mean, forget music for a second, just like stuff that's going on and in the news and everything else. We could definitely fill an hour pretty easy between the both of us. Yeah. So any guest, I guess, you have is going to have some spin on what the direction is going to be.
Yeah.
And, music, of course, is a good one. Great one.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, you asked what we got going on. So
really,
musically, we're still doing not the third Thursday. We're doing that as well. But every Thursday is the singer-songwriter series that Fleming helps to put on with, through Bummerville Amphitheater, his nonprofit that he does. So there's always going to be a special guest in here on Thursday nights. It might be Fleming himself, or it's somebody else that he's sourced out to come in and play. So it could be any musician around town that's involved with Fleming and the Bummerville Amphitheater scene. And it's usually somebody locally. We try and keep Somerville musicians in Somerville. So we're doing that every Thursday. Every third Thursday is always the Scotty Oliver Band. Right. And sometimes that melds into Blue Spear when Tommy Altair comes in and sings with them. So you could get one of those bands, or you might get both of them on a third Thursday. You never know what's going to happen. If Tommy's available, he comes in. And then, of course, Friday, we've got a schedule set up where somebody is on the second Friday, the third Friday, the fourth Friday. And if there's a fifth Friday, Fleming Moore actually fills the fifth Friday spot if there's a fifth Friday in a month. So those are our main 2 days right now, Thursday, Friday. And we're trying to expand into Saturday and have music all 3 nights.
Oh, that's great.
But it's a work in progress. We're still talking about trying to put, more of a dedicated stage over here in the corner that you'll see in the video. If we get the video up, the corner we're talking about, it's pointed right at it. We're trying to get, just a raised, like Cubamana has, it's a 4 inches or whatever stage. It's a little spot that just kind of says, hey, this is where the music happens. Maybe it's even something that we could just roll into the corner and take out when we're not using it. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. I mean,
Yeah.
Portable stage is definitely one.
Right.
Fixed stage, though, Homegrown Home Team Barbecue.
Right.
They redid that. They remodeled their place.
The downtown one, or which one are we
The
talking
one in West Ashley.
about? Okay. I haven't been to that one for music.
Yeah. And when they're not using the stage for music, they have the table on it, and people can sit there.
Yeah.
So, if you made it big enough in the corner, you could probably put the 2 chairs back and
Sure.
have the table up there, and then, it's like the king and the queen for the evening.
Yeah.
Pretty
So,
cool. Nice
yeah.
stuff. So same type of music, original. That's the thing about Homegrown that I think is really cool.
It's the biggest thing, yeah.
Try to grab the people to play original music.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's another place doing that around here. I
No.
think you guys have the market on that one.
I think so too. I mean, there's definitely places out there that don't have the licensing to do covers, but they still do them. But, excuse me, we try and stick to the original music.
Yeah.
There's some covers thrown in occasionally, of course, but
It's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up,
and I think people feel comfortable doing that because, they go out to these other places, people just want to hear covers, and they're
Right.
open up to be able to play covers, and I think they get strong arms sometime into playing covers when they really like to showcase some of their original stuff.
Yeah.
Here, they can work on whatever they want to work on.
play their tunes, and the people that come in know what they're getting. And just like tonight, the folks that were hanging out, they really seem to enjoy the original music.
Yeah,
And,
for sure.
That's a cool thing,
Yeah.
So pack the place out on Saturday. Tell your friends, friends, and so on and so on.
Yeah, let's pack this place out
Let's pack
Saturday
this
night.
place to the gills. And one thing about musicians, the more the audience is interacting with the band, the better the music gets.
Yeah.
It's just one of those strange things.
And sometimes the longer you get music, because I've been to places where the audience is not into it, they're not participating, they're not clapping, they're not even paying attention, listening, and as soon as 9 o'clock, like 8:59 and 59 seconds, they're wrapping up and
Thank
closing
you.
out.
Good
Yeah, see
night.
you guys. And
Yep.
But if they're having a good time and hanging out and people are clapping and getting involved, you might get an extra 30 minutes or a couple encores
You
or
never-
whatever.
Yeah, you never know. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things about the live music scene that's so cool. Good nights, people are involved, engaged, and all of a sudden, you're having a party, and the band's kind of just the conductor.
Yeah.
And the people that are hanging out are kind of driving where it's going to go. Hey, can we hear this? Do that song again. Though we don't hear that too much here.
No.
Play that song again.
Oh, really?
But
Yeah, I almost asked Clayton to play a song a second time tonight, but he had to get out of here.
which one? Sailor? What's that song
No.
that he does about it? You're going to have to put that in the cliff notes.
A pirate's
Pirate something or other.
a pirate something, Pirate Life, or
Yeah, that's
I should know that because he played it on the podcast,
that's a
back in
really
April.
good tune, man.
But no, it's one he just recorded a single for. Cocaine and Whiskey
Mhm.
is one of my favorites of
Yeah.
his.
He has some good tunes, so
He's
so
a good
I was
songwriter.
glad to get to come in and listen to him play the second set tonight. And,
Yeah. And just a great personality. He's got a good stage presence. He's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
Just everything. Great voice. I mean, he's just really doing it good. He's going places, I think.
he's working it.
Yeah.
Keep going. You play more. The more you play, the more opportunities that come up, and
Yeah.
that's part of it.
And I don't know what he was playing, but I heard him talking to somebody tonight. It wasn't these same people here. Somebody else was sitting at that table when he first started, or was setting up, and somebody had mentioned something about his guitar. So apparently the guitar he uses is just some kind of cheap guitar he found somewhere, and he's in the market to get a better guitar, but
Everybody
he's
is.
working it with what he's got,
You know, they always say, how many more guitars do you need?
Yeah.
Just one more.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
And that's kind of the running joke with musicians, you know.
Yeah.
Each one has its own feel to it. And, you know, the guitar I brought tonight, I got that probably about 28 years ago as a gift from my wife and daughter. No, because my daughter wasn't alive 28 years ago. It was from just my wife, Debbie. She went out with a friend of mine and brought this guitar back, and it's been all over the country with me.
Yeah.
And when I don't have to play live into an amplifier, that's the perfect guitar. It's it's comfortable, it's easy to play. And,
So it's can you plug it in or no?
No, you can't plug
Okay.
it in. Yeah, if you want to play it, that's why I brought it tonight. I said, well, if I play a song or two tonight, these microphones will pick up the guitar and the vocal, and that's exactly what that's meant for.
Yeah.
So
It should. I mean, this will be the first trial run to see how the acoustics sound in here and how the mics pick up and how
the room sounds.
the room sounds. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to reverberate off of some of this metal
No,
or what's going to happen, but it'll be interesting.
You'll fix it in the mix, man.
I don't know about that.
You got Audacity, man. You'll make it sound fantastic.
Yeah, we'll figure it
Wow,
out.
another plug. Hashtag Audacity.
Yeah, we'll put hashtag Audacity in there. It's going to be a lot of hashtags, I think, and
You know, the thing about that software that's so cool is it's an open source software.
yeah,
So people constantly develop for it. And for my money, it's as good as any of the paid, somebody's going to.
well, that's what I was about to say. For your money, it's free.
It's free.
Yeah.
And then it lets you get the feel for what it's like to record something and then be able to manipulate the sound a little bit and maybe EQ it a little bit so it sounds a little bit more like, FM radio back in the day or whatever you're trying to get.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can do hashtag Audacity and yes.
And I haven't dove into it that far, but I just kind of adjust the volume and that's about
Well,
it.
that's the beauty of it. It's such a, if you hit record,
Yeah,
it's recording.
yeah.
But then there's so many different things you can do with it.
Oh, there's so many menus I've looked through, and I'm like, I have no clue what I'm doing with that.
Right.
I'm just not going to mess with it. But all you got to do is go on YouTube and just say, I want to do this, and it'll pop up
It'll tell
a
you what
video.
to do, right? So it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And then you never know who's going to, maybe some guys over in the UK will start listening and they'll say, hey man, look at these guys using it for a podcast.
Yeah. Well, that's how I found out about it. Before Caleb and I even got together, I was going to do my own podcast by myself, and I just Googled, what do I need to do to start a podcast, and the very first thing that came up was get Audacity.
Isn't that
That's what
something?
I did.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, right? I mean,
Started with that, and then we got donated all this equipment, and we
I mean,
bought a couple mics.
what a
and-
rig, right?
Yeah.
And then as far as posting on, you use Podbean?
Podbean, Spotify, and I use Podbean as our hosting site. So we post everything there, and it pushes out from there to Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, so it's
And
very-
we used to use SoundCloud as well, but they started wanted us to pay for it, so separately from what we already
Yeah.
pay for Podbean. So we got rid of those guys. But
Yeah, I mean, people that find you, and then,
yeah, 3 platforms is enough.
That's
There's plenty to capture the Google guys, the Android guys, the Apple guys.
it was kind of funny, going back to the recording and all this stuff. As you're going through it, you're like, well, I just want people to be able to listen to the music that I know. But then all of a sudden, you start registering, and they say, well, where do you want your music distributed? And I'm
Mhm.
like, huh? So it says, well, you could pick what continents you want your music to be distributed at. And I'm saying, who in Africa is going to want to listen to some old blues tunes? But sure enough, man, it's there. And if somebody searches for blues and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
13 pages down, you might see me.
Yeah.
And some guy might be saying, hey, let me see what this guy sounds like. Click, and then, that's kind of how you
Yeah. Get that
billion-
one guy.
billions of people.
Then that
have
one
an
guy tells his
opportunity.
buddies, and
Yeah, so if I'm touring South Africa next year, I'll let you know.
yeah.
We could do a connection.
I mean, I know exactly what you're saying because, like Instagram followers, I got followers all over the world.
Isn't
you
that
know.
something?
Yeah.
I mean, so, you didn't have that back in the 80s, I don't think, to this degree
Yeah.
with record distributions or cassettes or whatever we selling back then.
Right.
So now it's like, you could put something out on the internet, and if you tag it correctly and, use all the tools available, you can get people in China, Japan, all over the world, and that makes it feel, like a pretty small place.
Yeah.
Compared to, the UK is across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Now it's like, well, it's a click away,
True.
and then I'll get my royalty.
Yeah. I'm not getting any royalties at the moment, but yeah.
Well, that's a whole other show.
Yeah. At least get a thumbs up
The
or a
royalty
like
should-
or
yeah,
whatever.
You get a
but-
like, and then if you
yeah.
get like a million
And to me, that's
likes-
money. I mean,
Well, you get a million likes, and then you never know. Like Sam Adams might call you up and say, "Hey, how come you're not drinking my beer on your podcast?"
Right.
And you say, "Well,
Yeah, that's always been the goal. Yeah.
I don't know how to do that."
Yeah. Well, I mean, it already happens here locally where, people either bring beer on the podcast or people give me beer to drink on the podcast.
And that's so cool, man.
So it's already happened, but not to that extent where I've got people from the West Coast calling me and saying, "Hey, drink our beer," But I have had people say, "Come out and check out our beer." We'll drink something on the show, and of course you hashtag them, whatever, on Instagram and on Facebook. You tag them on there, and they've offered us to come out. We had one from Denmark, as a matter of one time, that said, "Come out and drink some of this beer out in Denmark," and so.
That's the business magic. You got to figure out how to get the money
Yeah.
to go there, and maybe you can. It's the same thing with music. Hey, we'd like you to play at our festival. Well, I'd love to, but you're up in Buffalo, New York, and I'm down here in Somerville. Can you help out with the travel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we could put you up in a hotel. A whole other podcast, right?
Yeah.
Traveling with your stuff, right? We could put you up in a hotel, and we can, give you money for food, and then you could have your merchandise table at the festival, and we're going to have 10,000 people there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you bring T-shirts and stickers and all your, your CDs,
Right.
you could sell,
Here's your bottom line.
there's your thing, man. You're making some, extra money to support the addiction of creating original music.
Yeah. Very cool. And yeah, that was always our plan, and that's still my plan is to be a traveling podcast and go to, like Rock Hill and go to Legal Remedy Brewing Company, or go to Asheville and go to Sierra Nevada, or go wherever and just set up this gear that we got sitting right here and just talk to the head brewer, or talk to the owner, or talk to a bartender, or talk to somebody, and just,
The brewmasters.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Or hit the music scene up in Asheville and, get 2 or 3 different musical artists, over a weekend, talk to 2 or 3 different people and do 2 or 3 different shows.
on Friday night we do something in Asheville. It's called the Drum Circle.
Okay. Haven't heard
And
of it.
it's we were up there last month or 2 months ago, whatever. And Friday night at like 7:00, all of a sudden people start coming from all the nooks and crannies in Asheville to this little town square, and they're setting up their drums, and it's everything from, big African-style drums to cajones that you see the people playing in small clubs to tambourines, and then they start doing this drum circle, and it's just somebody picks up the reins and starts playing a rhythm, and then everybody starts jumping on the rhythm, and next thing you know, you have this really energized rhythm happening in this square, and people are dancing, and it's like Grateful Dead show / Woodstock / festival, where it's just a really fun time.
Right.
And I don't know how many years it's been going on, but it's every Friday night up there, I guess, unless it's raining. Pretty cool place to spend a couple hours. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look that up on YouTube or something. Just
Oh
kind of
yeah,
check
look
it
up
out.
the Asheville Drum Circle. You'll be like, wow, that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
You know.
and then I'll get up there and see it.
Yeah, it's definitely something to go visit. And then they have great, like all cities with artsy feel, they have plenty of places to listen to live music up there. And so after you listen to the drums for a while, you go hang out and have a beer and something to eat
Yeah,
at a club that's hosting live music, which is,
everywhere up there, right? I mean, it's a pretty big scene, right?
pretty big scene up there.
Yeah,
And then they have, just like Somerville here, they have open mics and all that stuff. So it's
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
I saw a band when I went out and saw Fleming at Allendale Green at the Barn Jam 2 Wednesdays ago, I guess it was, 3 Wednesdays ago, whenever it was. There was a band, God, I can't remember the damn name of the band now. They were from Asheville, and they were phenomenal. Something Soul. I'll remember it. I'll put it in the show notes.
Put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll remember it eventually, but Something Soul. But they were phenomenal. They had a trumpet. I mean, who has a trumpet in their band?
We do.
You have a trumpet?
We got a trumpet player.
Really? I mean, I see
Yeah.
saxophones
Can
and
you believe that?
really.
Yep, our newest, what would you say it's a project? Our newest musician in the project is John Daniel.
Okay.
And John Daniel is just a fantastic musician. He plays piano, trumpet, guitar, bass guitar. He put something in his hand and John will make music with it.
Mhm.
And he sat in with us at this 5K race performance last month. And we had a great time having him join us. And he's going to play with us tomorrow night at Coosaw Creek for their Halloween party.
I was about to bring that up, yeah.
Thanks. So I jumped the gun.
No, that's fine. And it keeps me from having to do it.
Anyway, we were playing a song, and we're gonna play some covers, a lot of covers tomorrow. And we played one by the Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want.
Love it.
And he said, "Hey, how about if I do a trumpet solo over that?" And I was like, "Sure, let's give it a try." And so, after you hear "For Whom the Bell Tolls,"
Yeah. Midnight. Yeah.
my favorite, my favorite Adrienne Barbeau movie was called The Fog.
Oh, yeah. I love The Fog. Yeah.
And she's a DJ, so it's kind of in line with what the hell we're doing here.
Yeah.
And the guy with the big sickle comes out, and I'm
Mhm.
like, gee, many crickets, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll hear it on the recording, but it's midnight.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Speaking of Fleming is right there in the window.
Is he really?
Yeah.
It's like The Fog, man.
Yeah. He just came out of the fog at midnight. Yeah.
We don't have fog here tonight, but yeah, Adrienne Barbeau
Yeah.
was the one of the leads. Anyway, so getting back to John, so now we took that one song and we said, well, what about on Unchain My Heart? Can you play on that? And so we got the trumpet player now.
Okay.
And I don't know, maybe John will join us Saturday night. I'm going to ask him. If
Right. So he hadn't played here with you
no,
guys
he has
before.
not played
so-
here with us, but that's part of the Paul Stone Project motif.
Right.
Is you never know who's going to be joining us, and we
Yeah.
give them the cue cards and they go.
Fleming finally just drove off.
He just drove off.
Or he's doing a U-turn now, I guess. But yeah, he was going back and forth trying to mess with me, and I was trying to keep a straight face. But yeah, I knew that was going to happen with somebody. But
It's like the old WGBB days. Got all these people in the window wanting to do.
Yeah.
Can you play the Beatles?
yeah.
Well, we don't play music. This is a podcast.
Well, that was the whole point of trying to get the podcast moved over here. Caleb and I have been trying to partner for a while to do craft conversations and homegrown in the same spot. And that's what we wanted is, push this wall back and have a podcast room in the back where we've got an on-air sign, a light comes on air, and there's a window, and people can come check out, and we'll have a podcast going on, plus all this is going on. There's music over here.
Yeah.
And have 2 or 3 different things going on. You got the hallway with video games, people playing games back there, and just have 4 different things going on here at one time to appease, any customer that comes in,
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Get every bit of entertainment value into a place, and people will come back for more beer and food. And,
Yeah.
awesome
But
stuff.
anyway, Fleming kind of messed me up. But so the thing tomorrow night. So where can people get in, or is that a private event, or
No, it's not.
It's a public event.
It's a public event, and if you go to Coosaw Creek, which is off of Dorchester Road in Somerville, it's actually North Charleston, Somerville. It's right by Fort Dorchester High School there. But if you pull up to the gate there and say you're here for the Halloween party at the clubhouse, they're going to let you in. There's no charge, which is really cool. There's no admission charge.
Yeah, it's very cool.
They would like everybody to show up in a costume, but if you just want to come and hang out and have a cold beer or a drink and something to eat, we're playing from 8 p.m. to midnight.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 4 hours of rock and roll, and you know,
And just you guys?
yes, one band. Yeah.
Nice.
So, you know, I'll be drinking hot tea tomorrow afternoon and
Yeah.
honey and getting ready to play, and we expect a pretty good turnout, and you know, it's going to be a fun evening.
Sounds like it.
We're not even going to play any originals tomorrow night because they asked us to, you know, keep the dancing going. So, you know, not that people wouldn't enjoy them, but we're sticking to really classic rock and roll with a little bit of blues and some country stuff we're sticking in there. So, you know, we want to keep people out there dancing, drinking, eating,
Sure.
having a good time.
Yeah.
And there'll be prizes, like they always do really pretty neat prizes for best costume and best couples. So like, you know, I think 3 years ago we played there, somebody came as the Bride of Frankenstein and Dr. Frankenstein.
Mhm.
You know, it was kind of cool stuff. But yeah, thanks for the plug on that.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're going to get this thing out first thing in the morning, so hopefully we'll get some people out there for that, and hopefully pack this place out on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome, man.
And we moved the time. Normally, the music plays here from 7 to 9, but we're going to move that to 8 to 10. So
Yeah, good times.
yeah, it's going to be good.
What do you think? You want to?
Play-
How you doing on?
Let's play a couple
Wanna do-
tunes.
wanna
Yeah,
do-
we're
wanna do-
about an hour and 10 minutes in.
Boy, that changed a lot
What's that?
when you got closer to the mic.
Did it?
Yeah,
Like this?
yeah.
Like this?
1, 2.
Yeah.
Check 1, 2. Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, we can do that. So I'll pause this. I'll pause the camera real quick, let you get set up, and then we'll restart everything.
Sounds great.
Kind of go in. So we'll be back, everybody.
Right after this.
Maybe if I can get my mouse working.
Oh, you know what? That was beautiful.
All right, guys. So we're back. We're all set up. We're going to do a couple songs here with Paul Pietrofeso of the Paul Stone Project. Here we go.
All right.
Let me get this camera on here.
Get the camera going. So we'll do one from the EP. This one's called Detention Center Blues. And
Hold on. Give me 1 second.
yeah, man.
Look at it. I'll cut this out.
No, yeah.
All right.
All right, so this one's on the EP. It's called Detention Center Blues, and it was written up in Arlington, Virginia. The hotel I was staying at, oddly enough, was right next to a jail. And I went out for a walk on a Wednesday night, and I heard all this crazy hooting and hollering, and sure enough, it was people in the jail. So I was thinking, man, how do you end up in jail? And I started writing this little blues tune called Detention Center Blues. Well, I went out late last night. I was feeling so fine till I got pulled over. Lord, I'm doing some time. I got those detention center blues. Well, I don't know if I'll fix them, but I'll bet you'll get them too. Well, I had a sweet lady. She treated me so fine till I stabbed her in the back. I caught her doing her thing. I got those detention center blues. Well, I don't know if I'll fix them, but I bet you'll get them too. I got up this morning, I was feeling so fine, till I blew that red light. Lord, I'm doing my time. I got those detention I'll center blues. I don't know if I'll fix them, but I'll bet you'll get them too. I got those detention, I got those detention, I got those detention, I got those detention. Well, I don't know if I'll fix them, but I bet you'll get them too. I got the detention, I got the detention, well, I got this detention, ooh, sinner blues. Ow! Well, I don't know if I'll fix them, but I'll bet you'll get them too.
All right, very nice.
And the moral of the story is, don't do it, man.
All right, so that was song one, so you're going to do one more for us, right, you said?
Man, anything you want, Brian.
All right, well, let's
We're
do
here at
one.
Homegrown Brewhouse, late night. It's almost like the Don Kirshner's rock concert. Yeah, we'll do a slower tune here, and this is on the EP as well. Kind of the idea for this song came out in a visit here one night. Just about the trials of a relationship, and it's called April Honey. So sit back and take a listen. In the kitchen, she's looking for a glass of wine. He's out with all his friends now, wishing he could go back in time. He's looking for April honey, for a glass of wine. Looking for April honey, while she's looking for a glass of wine. Say it will get better. How long before the change? He's feeling so much older, Lord, than he did just the other day. He's looking for April honey, while she's looking for a glass of wine. He's looking for April honey, while she's looking for a glass of wine. so blue now. Oh, how long's it gonna last? The dirt between our fingers was just that sign on how we last. Oh, yeah, she's looking for a good man, while he's looking for a glass of wine. He's looking for April honey. Oh, while she's looking for a glass of wine. April honey. Oh, while she's looking for a glass of wine.
All right. That seemed to be perfect timing because the camera just quit on us, but that was fantastic. I don't think I've heard that one before. Have you played that before, Pierre?
We might have played it. It's on the new EP.
Yeah.
So we'll play it Saturday night. We'll call you out on it.
Okay. That sounded very good, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
I guess that's going to wrap us up. I
Call
mean,
it a
the
wrap.
camera's off. We got to wrap it.
Thanks so much, man.
Man, I appreciate it.
Always a hoot, Brian.
Absolutely. And to everybody else, we'll talk to you soon.